The year is 1947. World War II has just ended, leaving Britain economically drained and exhausted. The once mighty British Empire, sprawling across the globe, is beginning to crumble. India, the jewel in the crown, is a hotbed of nationalist sentiment. The demand for independence, simmering for decades, reaches fever pitch. The British, unable to sustain their control, finally concede. Independence is granted, but it comes at a steep price, a price paid in blood and tears. The partition of India. The decision to grant independence was not made out of benevolence. Britain, grappling with its own wartime debts, could no longer afford to administer its vast Indian colony. The Indian nationalist movement, spearheaded by figures like Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru, had gained significant momentum. The Quit India movement of 1942, though brutally suppressed, had demonstrated the unwavering desire for self-rule. The Second World War had also significantly weakened Britain, both economically and militarily. The costs of waging a global war had depleted its treasury, while its military was stretched thin. Maintaining control over India, with its vast population and growing unrest, was no longer feasible. Moreover, the war had shifted global power dynamics. The rise of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers further diminished Britain's standing on the world stage. The writing was on the wall. The age of empires was coming to an end. Amidst the clamour for independence, a parallel movement was gaining traction. The Muslim League, led by the charismatic Muhammad Ali Jinnah, sought a separate homeland for India's Muslim minority. Jinnah, initially an advocate for Hindu-Muslim unity, had grown increasingly wary of a future dominated by the Hindu majority. He feared that in an independent India, Muslims would be relegated to second-class citizens. Jinnah's demand for a separate Muslim state, Pakistan, resonated with many Muslims who felt marginalized and underrepresented. The Muslim League, capitalizing on these anxieties, successfully mobilized Muslim support across the country. The call for Pakistan grew louder, further complicating the already intricate tapestry of Indian politics. The League's rise was fueled by a combination of factors. The Muslim community, while significant in number, was geographically dispersed and economically disadvantaged. The British policy of divide and rule, which had long exploited religious differences for political gain, had sown seeds of mistrust between Hindus and Muslims. The League skillfully exploited these divisions, portraying the Congress Party as a Hindu-dominated entity that would not safeguard Muslim interests. Jinnah, a shrewd strategist, played his cards masterfully. He presented the creation of Pakistan as the only viable solution to the Hindu-Muslim question. His message resonated with millions, particularly in the Muslim-majority provinces of Bengal and Punjab. The British, masters of manipulation, had long employed the strategy of divide and rule to maintain their grip on India. Recognizing the potential for discord between Hindus and Muslims, they had implemented policies that exacerbated these divisions. Separate electorates for Hindus and Muslims, introduced in 1909, had deepened communal fault lines. The British had consistently favored one community over the other at different points in their rule, fostering resentment and mistrust. By the time independence became imminent, the seeds of division had been sown deep, creating fertile ground for the partition plan. With the clock ticking down to independence, the task of dividing the subcontinent fell upon Lord Mountbatten, the last Viceroy of India. A hurried timeline of just 2 months was set to draw the borders, a task entrusted to Sir Cyril Radcliffe, a lawyer with no prior experience in India. Radcliffe's lines, drawn hastily and with inadequate information, cleaved through the heart of Punjab and Bengal, provinces with mixed populations. The consequences were catastrophic. Millions found themselves on the wrong side of the border, their homes no longer their own. The Partition Plan, announced in June 1947, triggered mass panic and displacement. The hastily drawn borders, intended to divide the subcontinent along religious lines, instead cut through communities, families, and even homes. Millions found themselves on the wrong side of the border, sparking a mass exodus of unprecedented scale. Section 5, a humanitarian catastrophe, displacement and violence. Partition unleashed a wave of unimaginable horror. As Hindus, Muslims and Sikhs scrambled to cross the newly drawn borders, religious violence erupted with terrifying ferocity. Neighbors turned on neighbors, villages were set ablaze, and unspeakable atrocities were committed in the name of religion. The partition, intended to create two nations, instead birthed a nightmare of unimaginable proportions. The mass displacement of people, estimated to be around 15 million, led to a humanitarian crisis of unimaginable proportions. Refugee columns stretching for miles became easy targets for mobs seeking vengeance. Trains, overflowing with refugees, arrived at their destinations littered with corpses, a grim testament to the horrors that unfolded during the journey. Section 6. The numbers, a staggering toll. The exact human cost of partition remains a matter of debate, largely due to the chaotic circumstances and the difficulty in collecting accurate data. However, most historians agree that the death toll was staggering, ranging from 200,000 to 2 million. Millions more were displaced, their lives shattered by the upheaval. The violence left deep scars on the collective psyche of both India and Pakistan, scars that continue to haunt the subcontinent even today. The partition, etched in blood and memory, became a stark reminder of the human cost of division. Beyond the staggering death toll, the partition resulted in an estimated 14 million people becoming refugees. Families were torn apart, homes abandoned, and entire communities uprooted. The trauma of displacement, coupled with the loss of loved ones and property, left an enduring legacy of pain and suffering. Section 7. A legacy of conflict, Kashmir, Bangladesh and beyond. The partition of India cast a long shadow over the subcontinent. The Radcliffe Line, drawn in haste, left the fate of Kashmir, a princely state with a Muslim majority but ruled by a Hindu Maharaja, unresolved. This dispute over Kashmir became a festering wound, leading to 3 wars between India and Pakistan in 1947 to 48, 1965 and 1999, and countless skirmishes. The partition also sowed the seeds for the creation of Bangladesh in 1971. The former East Pakistan, separated from West Pakistan by over 1,000 miles of Indian territory, faced linguistic and cultural discrimination at the hands of the West Pakistani ruling elite. Section 8. Rising tides, religious nationalism in India and Pakistan. In the decades following partition, both India and Pakistan witnessed the rise of religious nationalism. In India, the Hindu right, which had always opposed the partition, gained political ground by exploiting Hindu anxieties and promoting a Hindu nationalist agenda. In Pakistan, Islam became central to the nation's identity, with successive governments using religion to consolidate power and legitimize their rule. The rise of religious nationalism in both countries has exacerbated communal tensions and marginalized religious minorities. The space for dissent and pluralism has shrunk, with those espousing secular and inclusive visions facing increasing hostility and persecution. Section 9. Pahalgam and beyond. The conflict continues. The long shadow of partition continues to loom large over the subcontinent. The recent attack in Pahalgam, Kashmir, which claimed the lives of 26 people, is a stark reminder of the fragility of peace in the region. The attack, attributed to the Resistance Front, a militant group operating from Pakistan-administered Kashmir, has further escalated tensions between India and Pakistan. India's response to the attack has been swift and strong, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi vowing to avenge the killings. Diplomatic ties with Pakistan have been downgraded, and India has threatened to review its participation in the Indus Waters Treaty, a crucial water-sharing agreement between the two countries. Pakistan, while denying any involvement in the attack, has responded with countermeasures, including the closure of its airspace to Indian airlines. The Pahalgam attack underscores the volatile situation in Kashmir, a region scarred by decades of conflict and mistrust. The attack has also highlighted the deep-rooted animosity between India and Pakistan, two nuclear-armed neighbors locked in a seemingly intractable rivalry. The attack serves as a grim reminder that the wounds of partition are far from healed, and that the quest for lasting peace in the region remains elusive.